my name is Cassie Green, and my husband and I own the Green Grocer located at 3614 Greenville Avenue. Today we are making what I would refer to as our somewhat famous cookie butter. For those of you who have heard of cookie butter from some of the other big chains, you probably know it is decadent and delicious and tastes fantastic. But once you flip over the ingredients and start to read them, that's when it gets a little bit scary. So we decided to make our own version of cookie butter that was healthy, still delicious, but also really easy to make at home. So that's what we're making today. We're gonna start out with 2 cups of peanuts and a really good food processor. So I've got my peanuts already measured out. The nice thing too about this recipe is it's not precise. It's going to taste great, so you don't have to be super obsessed with getting everything to the perfect measurement. We're gonna dump our peanuts in here. Interestingly enough, the first thing that happens in this recipe is you actually make homemade peanut butter. So if you wanted to, you could just stop right there. But I will warn you, this thing gets really, really, really loud when you first process it, and it takes about 10 minutes. So we're gonna put the lid on, we're gonna get our peanuts going and get started. So we're about 2 minutes into our processing right now, and you can see that the peanuts are obviously ground up, but it's kind of forming these chunky, almost dough-like balls. Let it keep going. It's going to be really tempting to want to stop it at a certain point and think that you've totally screwed it up. Trust me, the first few times I made this, I was like, it's not working. It is, you just have to practice a little patience. So I'm gonna keep processing this, and we'll stop it again to scrape the sides in a minute. So we're about 5 minutes into our processing now, and you can see that those doughy balls have already started to kind of release. I'm just gonna push this down from the side, just using a nice soft spatula, just to get everything to keep processing. We're probably only about 3 minutes away from our first step, and again, from homemade peanut butter, which is really cool. So we're gonna turn this back on. Okay, so now we are ready to go with this peanut butter. You can see the consistency is really nice and smooth. You could certainly continue to process it, but because we're making more things, we're gonna keep adding more items, it will naturally get processed more. The whole cookie butter is gonna be really, really smooth, really, really silky, exactly the texture you want. And because I use unsalted peanuts for this, I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of salt. You could always buy already salted ones, you could buy honey roasted, whatever you prefer. I'm also gonna go ahead and add my cinnamon, which is about 1 tablespoon, and I had a scant pinch of nutmeg in there. I personally just love nutmeg because it tastes like the holidays. It really brings out flavors in kind of a subtle way as well. You don't have to add that at all. The nice thing about this is once we process this, you could keep it this way. You can even add a little honey and have your own peanut butter made at home before you even get to the cookie butter phase. But trust me, you wanna get to the cookie butter phase. So we'll turn this on real quick and then we'll add our cookies. So now we've got our spices and our salt all blended in, and we're gonna add our chopped cookies. Now, it can be tempting to want to just add the whole cookies in the food processor. Don't do that because you'll end up with these giant chunks of cookies that sort of mess with the consistency. So just chop them roughly. You can see they're, it's not pretty, but they're chopped enough that the food processor will be able to do its magic. Now what we've used organic ginger cream cookies. You could use any kind of gingery cookie that you want, or really any cookie for that matter, but the ginger brings out a nice, just a nice spice and really complements the chocolate as well. And to make this gluten-free, you could use a gluten-free ginger snap. So let's process this for about 1 minute or so. So my cookies are pretty much blended at this point. I'm just scraping down the sides just to make sure that everything's getting incorporated. It's sort of a good rule for thumb with anything you're food processing. Stuff's gonna go up the sides, just push it down. A soft spatula is absolutely your best friend when you're making something like this. All right, so our last and final step is to add the chocolate chips. And we've got about 1.5 cups of chocolate chips here. Now you could add white chocolate chips if you wanted to. I've got a semi-sweet chocolate chip here. You could do white, you could do dark, just it's kind of to taste. I think this complements, there's enough sweetness in the cookies that you don't need a super sweet chocolate chip, but it makes it perfect if you're putting this spread on fruit or on toast or cookies even, cookie butter on cookies. So we're gonna blend this one more time, probably 2 to 3 minutes until smooth. I think we should be about done now. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, this is the perfect consistency. So you want it like a really nice spreadable peanut butter. You can store this in the fridge for 3-4 weeks easily. Put it on apples like I have now, then all you have to do next is enjoy.